Hello everyone and welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay. I am the OutbackAl.
I'm hot for justice.
I'm Chibi Noodle.
And I'm NV Jitters.
And we're back again with, this is like the first time in a while that we've continued a show as opposed to just start a new one next week. We're back with more Madoka, because why not do more Madoka? We started with Madoka, let's keep doing Madoka. Sorry, I need to adjust my mic there for a minute. Oh, we watched episode 5 through 8.
Yep.
And
we did.
Things got bad last time, they just keep getting worse.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't everybody love that?
Yeah.
Sure.
This is such a fun thing to watch.
Yeah.
You know? Good times.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened? What happened this week? So after Mommy died and Sayaka became a magical girl, we get to learn a little bit about Sayaka's wish. She wished that her not-boyfriend Kyosuke's arm was fixed and that he would get better and could play the violin again. And she got her wish. Now she goes and fights witches and whatnot. But there's some new chick in town. I've never seen her before in my life. And she apparently wants this territory for hunting witches. And she doesn't take too kindly that some amateur is traipsing around this prime territory. So Kyoko comes after Sayaka and is like, hey, you don't know what you're doing. You're going after little familiars. They don't even give you grief seeds. That's really dumb. You're dumb. And Sayaka's like, but it's gonna hurt people. It's like, yeah, it's supposed to. This is how the food chain works. Familiars eat people, become witches, and then we eat the witches. Didn't anyone tell you how this works? And Sayaka takes offense to that. And they get into a fight. Get our first magical girl fight, really. You always had that bit of a standoff quality going on with Mami and Homura, but they never really had it out. So, Kyoko is clearly the stronger individual, and Sayaka very nearly gets just straight up murdered by her. But Homura stepped in at the last minute, and fixed everything. Well, didn't fix everything. Sayaka's still pissed off about a whole bunch of stuff, and nothing else seems to be going her way because, now that her not-boyfriend's out of the hospital, other people are interested in him. And, we also found out that magical girls are basically dead bodies being controlled by their souls that are outside their body whenever Madoka decides to throw a Sayaka's soul gem away. So spoilers on that one. Everything's bad. There's zombies or puppets or a whole number. There's a number of different interpretations you can make about this. Long story short, we never should have trusted QB. He did not have our best intentions in mind. He takes out the girl's soul and encases it inside a small gem that is easy to transport, protect, and uses energy more efficiently. And the body is just a puppet,
A conduit.
really. Yeah.
It's a conduit.
Yeah. So that has horrifying existential implications for this entire series. And everyone's dealing with that all at once. So, good times. Good times. Anyway, everyone's getting depressed and telling their backstories, like how Kyoko was the daughter of a preacher who really wanted to help the world a lot more and started preaching some new ideas, and people hated it, so she used her witch to make everybody believe him and all that sort of stuff. And it worked for a while, and she fought witches, and he preached his sermons, and then he found out that his daughter did that, and he was like, well, you're a witch. And then he killed his family and hung himself. And so that's damn. So that's Kyoko's whole philosophy, is don't do things for other people. Do things for yourself. That way, you're the only person you have to blame for your own problems. And especially with her whole situation of my life is meaningless, more or less. Things are not great all around. Sayaka is slowly slipping into a deep, dark place. Madoka doesn't know what to do, but when has she ever? So she's kind of get advice from her mom, like, what should I do? You know, I think my friends like doing things that they shouldn't be or aren't looking at things the right way, and their mom's like, well, why don't you do something crazy? Maybe that'll snap him out of it. It doesn't. She ends up throwing the soul gem away. Just bad things happen. I wouldn't have lived yet there. I mean, I'm gonna say this: mom gives decent advice, just not great for this situation. Yeah, so she's kind of dealing with all of that, and, you know, Homer is trying to keep it all together, like, hey, Kyoko, look, there's a big witch coming, I need your help. How do you know about that? I'm not telling you. Okay, whatever. Madoka, please, for the love of God, give up on Sayaka and do not become a magical girl. Which QB is, like, really doing that hard sell this week, because he is just every episode's like, hey, so, contract? You know, we can make a contract. Do you have something you want? Maybe you want to make a contract. Oh, Sayaka's might get her butt kicked, but you know, you never know. You could always make a contract real quick or something. You know, why not do that real quick? So he's going hard, man. He's going real hard.
Yeah.
Homura blasts him. Actually, it was actually kind of satisfying because he's like, well, yeah, because his whole thing was like, yeah, you know, I don't know what the big deal is. Where your soul is, or that kind of thing. Does it really matter? You know, I gave you a better way to do your job. You know, you can't tell where your soul is anyway on a normal basis. What's the big deal? And then people are like, oh, why didn't you tell us any of this? You didn't ask. Why would I tell you if you didn't ask? And I'm like, this is all very fair points.
Yep.
But you're still a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like he's got the personality of an AI or like HAL 9000, but like it's
yeah.
Or it's an organic thing, just the personality or lack thereof of a computer.
They like the thing is like the entire thing about Cubes is that they lack emotion. Like they have no way of feeling how humans feel, which is why like how humans react and human values like doesn't make any sense to them. So. Mm-hmm.
Despite the fact that they seem to be working on, they use emotions for a lot of things. It apparently seems like, because emotional states kind of cause some bad things to happen.
I mean, they generate a lot of energy, so
yep.
Yeah.
You could look at it like I guess it would kind of be like how we would look like. I think he looks at us kind of like batteries. Or like a power plant or something. You know, I wouldn't look at a battery and be like, I wonder how the battery feels about being put in my remote control. I would just assume that it doesn't. Which is dark, but I don't know. Anywho.
I mean, that's one thing, because a battery is like it's an inanimate object, but for something that actually has some sentience, like, you really do gotta wonder, like, how it feels. But
maybe.
That's just hard for them to comprehend.
Yeah. I think, you know, I feel like at this point it's pretty much confirmed they're like a hive mind kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a whole bunch of these little monsters running around. All of whom seem to eat each other after they die.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fun. Nothing like casual cannibalism to brighten your day. But you know who's not? What was that?
No, I was like, I actually forgot that scene in the show, and when it happened, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot.
I still wasn't surprised when this guy turned out to be not necessarily evil, but certainly not a benevolent, wonderful creature. When, you know, on top of everything that happened last time, he also eats the darkness-filled grief seeds. I'm like, no, there's no good person who does that. That's some devil shit.
He's a trash compactor.
Sure.
That's how they get you, though. You get a cute and cuddly thing, and then it turns out to be evil as shit.
We've all seen Gremlins. We know how that is.
Yeah.
But they're so cute.
Mogwai cute.
Is
Gremlins
QB
are
cute?
not. Depends.
I really got to question it. At a glance, it's a cute design, but when you really stop and look at it, the expressionless face, those evil red eyes, I didn't trust that thing to begin with.
Oh, you should see how that thing looks in the manga.
I'm sure he looks even more evil. Anywho, Sayaka had a really bad day. And she's like, she found out, like, oh, I can feel pain, or I can turn off all the pain, and I can shut out all my emotions and all the other pains and everything else that I'm having. So she's pretty much in full mental breakdown mode. And then she murders some people, which is not a great outlet, if I'm being honest. But yeah, then her soul gem goes completely black, and she turns into a witch. And QB's like, yeah, of course you guys turned into a witch. Why do you think we call you magical girls? I'm like, oh, you clever little bitch, you.
Everything connects.
Yep, it's a circle. It's a big circle of pain and suffering.
Yep.
So how are we feeling?
Yeah, and the next 4 episodes are going to be so much better in that regard.
No spoilers. I have no idea what's going to happen next. Honestly, I will say this just in regard to that. Like, I said last time that this was my second time watching this, like, in full. But individually, I've seen every episode at least 10 times. Because of how many times I just scrub through footage and stuff and, like, rewatch them just to, like, find clips and scenes to do for, like, editing things.
Right.
I think it's just 11 and 12 that I haven't seen that much of. I've probably only watched, like, once or twice on their own. Because there's not a whole lot of usable stuff in there for where we're at right now.
Yeah.
But, could change down the line. Who knows? But we're not here to talk about that today. We're here to talk about 5 through 8. It seems like every time we do this, we're ending. And granted, I think every episode is kind of doing this, but I feel like every time we're cutting off these weeks, it's like we're ending on some new development with Sayaka. Sayaka turning into something.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
bit of a weird point, but how's everybody feeling right now with this?
I mean, I feel like it's just gonna get worse. Obviously, we know this already because we've all seen it. And granted, like, this is one of my favorite shows, so I'm definitely, like, really enjoying myself as I'm watching it, but at the same time, I'm, like, feeling like, oh, this is so horrible. Why am I doing this to myself? Every time.
Because the pain feels good.
I mean, in some capacity, I guess this is kind of cathartic, but still.
No.
It's not.
I mean, I will say this. These 4 episodes, they pretty much felt like Sayaka's episodes. Like, Madoka was like a side character, and Sayaka was like the main character, which I think I didn't mind. And you also got a lot of development with Kyoko, which, I mean, now Al finally knows who she is. So, we get to learn all about her.
I mean, in some aspects, that kind of makes a lot more sense, because Sayaka is more of the active character. She is the magical girl at this point, out of the two of them. Because Madoka's just basically kind of like following what Homura is saying and not becoming a magical girl, or Homura's just interfering with her becoming a magical girl, that it's just kind of like, we haven't really seen Madoka do a whole lot yet, because stuff that's going on right now.
Despite the fact that she is, according to QB, probably going to be the most powerful magical girl of all, and even it doesn't know why.
Yeah.
It's the chosen one.
We'll learn. There's a reason for this.
Yeah. Saw some emotion out of Homura this week.
Yep.
The cool, calm, collected one breaks down because Madoka is going to throw her life away.
Mm-hmm.
At least it seems to Homura that Madoka is going to throw her life away.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, I mean, at least at this rate, Homura is getting some development, and which is nice because she's basically sort of been like an antagonist sort of character, like, for a portion of this show, and now it's just kind of revealing that, like, oh, this girl actually is, like, really deeply caring about our main character, and it's like they're not really so much like enemies. It's more like we just don't really know who she is. And Kyubei's even like, I don't really know who you are, but I know you don't belong here.
Yeah, I do like that about this and a lot of other of Gen Urobuchi's work, is that like he will make everyone, even like a villain, a well-rounded character. Even if you're like not a good person, or like I'm thinking especially like in this or in like Fate Zero, it almost feels like there is no main character the majority of the time. Like everyone is like clearly the hero of their own story, and I feel like we're given, shown how they are their own hero or villain or whatever else, and it makes everyone very like rounded. Like even like we met Kyoko properly this week, and she went from clearly the antagonist to an ally, even a friend in some instance.
Yeah.
And kind of the same thing is happening with Homura. She was a bad guy in episode 1. She was other thing, like as it went into episode 3 and 4, she became like, okay, you're not a bad guy. You're not the evil. You're coming from a perspective that we don't have. And to some degree, they are trying to understand, at least Madoka is trying to understand the perspectives that everyone else is coming into this fight with. Sayaka, not so much. She's a little bit headstrong. And I think that's kind of what was her downfall in the end. She's not really willing to listen to anything but herself.
Yeah.
But I mean, put in that extreme situation, I can't say that I wouldn't be in a bad way either.
Yeah, when you sacrifice your literal humanity to heal your crush, and then fucking Atome say, you know what, I've been in love with him all along, so unless you make a move, I'm gonna steal him from you. And it's like, really, bitch?
Okay.
And then
I mean, in a way, I feel like that kind of reaction's a little immature, but at the same time, she's like 14, so I'm gonna give it a pass. Mostly just because at the age of 14, you do some stupid shit.
Yeah, none of us had a fully developed brain back then.
I'm not saying it wouldn't happen in real life. I'm just saying, like, Sayaka is already being depressed because she found out that she's not human anymore, and she can never truly be with her crush. And then, one of my best friends has always been in love with him, so yeah, there's nothing I can do now, and that just further.
I mean, she could always just confess and kind of, continue to live her life, even though she is kind of a bit of an empty shell being controlled by a stone.
I kind of feel like that ship is sailed at this point.
Yeah, I know, but there are other ways to handle the situation, I feel.
Yeah, I'm going to throw out there, because I feel like, at the very least, I've heard like a lot of people don't like Atome for this reason, for these episodes. But I really
doesn't know.
Gotta say, yeah, she doesn't know, and honestly, she kind of gave her like the opportunity to be like, "Hey, listen, I'm interested in this guy, but I respect you, and I respect our friendship. Do you have some feelings for him?" And Sayaka
exactly,
really,
that's what I mean.
She did not answer. She really was just dodging the question, and Atome's like, "Okay, look, I think that you have some feelings there, and I am willing to give you a time, not a ton, but time to work through those and figure that out. Figure out what you want to do. I know what I want. I'm going to give you till tomorrow or whatever. Figure out what you want. If you don't do anything until then, I'm going for it." I'm like, honestly, that's kind of a respectable way of going about it.
Fair. I can't. Yeah. Honestly, I wasn't mad at her about it. Yeah. I was just kind of like, you shoot your shot. If you don't shoot, you got no shot.
Yeah, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Okay.
Do you feel differently, Gav?
No, I just think it's funny that you're quoting a hockey player, but okay.
Wait, which hockey player? Because I feel like that's also in baseball and 100 other sports things.
I think it's hold on, Wayne Gretzky, yeah.
You know what? That does sound like something the Great One would say.
Yeah.
And also, to be fair to Sayaka too, how would you even explain what is going on to someone who's not part of that group? Like how you can't. Like, no one would take you seriously. So I understand the situation. So it was literally a lose-lose situation for her, no matter what she does.
Kyoko kind of told her what happened whenever it came out that she had made a wish for someone and had that all that happen, and it did not go well for her. I don't know that she has a lot of not a lot of. She has no examples of any of this, because really, she's met 3 magical girls and hated 2 of them. I mean, she does not have like a whole lot of stuff to go off of here, and really her only I'll just call it an exposition fairy, QB, is she now can no longer trust. So
Yeah.
It causes a lot of issues.
Mm-hmm.
And also, when you're dealing with that much stress, you're not always thinking 100% clearly.
Oh no, she
Just
was
saying
definitely
that right
not.
now.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I feel like all of these situations could be easily avoided if they just knew the one thing that you should always know. 1, never sign anything unless you have someone look over it. Always ask every possible question. And also, never agree to anything if you're a minor and you don't have a parent there.
That is very true. This is why, for all doctor paperwork, you must have your guardian or parent be there to sign if you are under the age of 18.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Don't, and you know, nothing for nothing. Maybe don't buy what the talking cat is selling.
That too. Be careful what you wish for, but that's kind of a common thing.
Well, yeah, monkey's paw is always an issue, but like, you know, a lot of times it's one of those things where you can't always foresee what's going to happen.
Oh,
and
yeah,
to be
for
fair,
sure.
like, you know, I don't know that Sayaka's wish backfired. I don't really know that it backfired.
It didn't.
Like Hyoko's wish backfired.
Oh, for sure.
Because
Yeah.
her whole thing was like, I want people to blah, 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 like, for my dad, and then the dad finds out, and then it's like, oh, okay, I want to die now. Sayaka's wish seems to have been fully successful. Now, maybe you could interpret it as her real wish was to be with Kyosuke, but she disguised it as something else, and therefore her real wish was never fulfilled. But I don't know. Then you're getting kind of into... then you get kind of back into that whole contract thing. It's like, hey, clear language and understand everything said.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of want to go into like a bit of a philosophy thing, but I feel like I should wait till next week when we learn a little bit more about everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hold off on that.
Yee. Okay. Oh, the whole eye interpretation thing is another thing that we can bring into talking about next week for the end credit scene.
Oh, the Madoka in the eye thing?
Yee.
You know what? I'm not really as concerned about that one. I'm still concerned with why Lord Humongous was at the end of episode 2. That's one that's going to stick with me. I think more than anything, that is what stuck with me through Madoka. Why Lord Humongous? Why there? Why then? You know? It's just... those are the real questions. But
these are the questions that keep us up or at least Al up at night.
Oh yeah. I think constantly about Lord Humongous, another giant, half-naked, large-chested man.
Wow.
But that's a me thing. Let's not worry about that.
Okay.
I gotta say though, for it being 2011, the action animation holds up a lot. Holds up pretty well, especially the Kyoko versus Sayaka fight. I thought that was pretty
yeah.
well done.
I mean, we said again because like this whole show looks great. We had more head tilts, bunch more head tilts this time around.
Yeah.
But beyond that, like the production of this is fantastic. The visuals, especially for like the witch layers and stuff. But even on like the normal days, like I love how these guys do like sunsets and stuff like that. The colors are fantastic.
Yeah.
That and the music, like we've talked about this too, but like it's wonderful. I actually remember like I forget which piece it was, but it was just one simple piano piece that was playing with Madoka. Oh, I loved it. It's great. God, I'm trying to think of like highlights, but it's all highlights.
I can think of like one of my favorite animations from these episodes. I think that like the part where Sayaka's freaking out and her like you can see her shadow and it's basically like it's just a silhouette, I guess, of her fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always remember that with like the branches from the witch she's fighting and like where she like splits the tree branches, like that being like one of my favorite things about the anime.
Yeah.
I really like that scene. It's a good ass scene. Anyway, yeah.
That's also kind of where she just breaks as a character almost, or like as a person.
Yeah. I also really like the Kyoko scene with like where she's the church like when she's describing I guess her wish and the animation like changes like for her and her like dad and sister and mom, I guess. And it's like just a different art style and it's very like not like cutesy, but it's definitely different. And I like that a lot.
Like I know
And
it's
she
not
has, like,
exactly
little
this. I know it's not exactly the same. Do
puppets.
you guys ever see the Babadook?
Yes.
It kind of reminded me of the Babadook book.
Yeah.
The book?
Yeah, the book that in the movie The Babadook. How like it's kind of like this weird kind of like sketchy sort of like kind of drawing style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah, these episodes like are just very good. These are some of my favorite episodes of the series, I think.
Yeah. I'm like, and this is just kind of like the film student in me, like I'm kind of watching all these episodes, like each episode kind of has it too, but like I'm kind of watching like the little hero's journey kind of thing, you know, that circle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of like I think like Mammy was definitely like, oh, the point of no return kind of deal, and then you know you're going into kind of like the new world that you're in and sacrifices that have to be made to get back to the normal world, but there's no normal world anymore, so it might be breaking that wheel. So yeah, I feel like we're like probably at the climax of Act 2, getting into Act 3 pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there should be more to talk about. Should we like talk like about individual subjects again?
I feel like we just kind of did like without really, you know.
I mean,
like
one
formally speaking about it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
one cool detail I thought was unique about Kyoko was that, like they said in her background, she grew up, you know, poor. She didn't eat a lot. She didn't get a lot of food. So I kind of think that's why every time you see her, she's eating a whole bunch of stuff because she's never going to take
Definitely.
food for granted ever
definitely.
again. So I thought that was a cool detail, and why whenever Sayaka was like, "Get your food away from me," and drop the apple, she was like, "If you ever waste food again, I'll kill you."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely why.
How about her like talking like doing a misery situation? Like, because she saw Sayaka like before they were gonna have a second fight. She saw Sayaka outside Kyosuke's house and was like, "Hey, so you know, if you want that guy to love you, you know, you could just break his arms and legs, and so he has to rely on you for the rest of his life. I'm like, that's so fucking dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's something alright.
Like, I know what happened to you, but what happened to you specifically to make you go to there?
Yeah. She's like very real. She's she don't mess around for sure.
No, definitely not. She don't beat around the bush either.
No.
But yeah, at the same time, she went. Yeah, but at the same time, she went from literally about to kill Sayaka to starting to care about her over the course of the 4 episodes, and we'll see what that leads to.
Well, I mean,
not much now. She's a witch, dude.
I think part of that was just kind of like she came to realize like that Kyubey is more of her enemy than anyone else, and that like because she realizes Sayaka's in like the same shitty situation that she is, that like maybe they can reach some common ground, because obviously they're both sort of stuck in this shitty situation.
You know, I was kind of reminded of, like, especially when, in regard to how she's talking, like, the food chain and that, like, Kyoko clearly thought she was an apex predator this whole time. And it's like, it's kind of like that Family Guy joke, Bigger Jaws. It's like the movie Jaws, but then they find out there's an even bigger shark, so the shark has to team up with the fisherman. I'm like,
yeah,
that's dumb, but it's kind of the situation, yeah. Like, clearly the top dog here has been QB all along. And, yeah, that's you got to deal with that a lot more. I mean, she was already going to work with Homura, so she wasn't, even before learning about this, she wasn't incapable of working with other people or seeing the benefit of it.
Yeah.
But now it's kind of like, okay, so it's pretty much us against the world now. Who wants to be friendly?
Yeah.
Yeah, just a bit.
Do you guys remember years ago when we first watched this anime club, what everyone's reaction was when the revelation of the soul gem came out in like episode 6? Like whenever Madoka threw away Sayaka's soul gem off the bridge and Sayaka just fell over dead because it got past 100 feet. Like, do you remember everyone's react? Do you remember your reaction to that? Because I remember everyone in club was like, "Holy shit!"
Not one iota. I don't remember anything from college. I've told you before. I've blocked it all out.
I remember my reaction. I came back from my other club and I was like, "Hey, what'd I miss?" And they're like, magical girls are witches and the soul gems are actually their souls." I'm like, "Yeah, I buy that."
I don't remember, but
yeah, because you weren't there.
No, but I mean, I don't even remember my own reaction. But I do have something to say about that scene. When I was watching it today, I was like, oh, you know what? This is just like when you have your Bluetooth headphones connected to a device, and you move too far away from said device, and then your like Bluetooth, like your headphones like disconnect.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I know that's like a dumb like thing to compare it to, but I was just thinking about it and I was like, oh yes, modern day Bluetooth.
On a technical level, I don't think you're wrong
yeah.
though. So, you know.
Yeah.
Or it's kind of like disconnecting a battery. Almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
you
my
know
God.
what? You know what it is? It's. Did you guys ever have wireless controllers for your?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, your battery ran out in the middle of your like Super Smash Bros. Fight, and your guy's just standing there waiting, getting his ass kicked.
Or you're playing an online shooter, and
Oh my god, that's so much worse.
And your controller
Actually-
goes dead, and it's like, yeah.
Actually, it's more like you have the wireless controller, but you've moved your controller at an angle that it no longer has like the connectivity with the little thing that you've got plugged into the console. So your guy is just standing there.
It's usually, I never had that. I never had like a.
I
did it at an
Do you ever
angle.
play the Wii?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't stupid. I didn't buy one of those.
I mean, for me with my Nintendo GameCube, when I was not when I was younger when we first got it, but when I was like in my teens and I would still like play pirated games on my GameCube. Like it would do that from time to time, and I would just be like, "No, Link, you gotta bash the bats. No, get back there." So then I'd have to like readjust the controller and be like, "Okay, now we're back in business."
So it was wireless on the GameCube?
Yeah.
There was a wireless GameCube controller called the Wavebird. It was very popular.
That was probably like one of the first wireless controllers, though, I'm betting. I'm sure there was probably going to be bugs with that.
I mean, yeah, for the most part, though, it wasn't really glitchy. You just had to make sure that both your little adapter plug-in and the controller itself were both on, like, the same channel, like, set to the same number, so that way, like, they could maintain connectivity, because if you had multiple wireless controllers, they'd each need to be set to a different number, so that way it wasn't getting, like, crossed, and people weren't getting confused. But yeah, like, I think it might have just been the fact that it was, like, an older controller at that point, so I think the connectivity for it wasn't quite as good as it used to be. Not that it didn't work, but still, it was kind of like, no, I gotta get back to the thing.
Yeah. I think the first wireless controller I had was for, like, a PS3, or maybe the Xbox 360. I don't know which one, but I think the Xbox 360 was better because you could at least, like, change the batteries as opposed to, like, oh, I can't play from across the room anymore. I have to be, like, 3 feet from it.
Yeah.
While I charge it.
I actually think I still have my old GameCube wireless controller, because, like, I remember, because anytime I have a TV and I have chairs set up in front of said TV, I'm always too far away. So I always need my wireless controller to be able to play anything.
The question is, though, do you still have your original GameCube?
I don't have the silver one, but I have an old purple one that we refurbished so it could play pirated games.
Nice.
Yay.
If only you could do that with a magical girl body.
I know.
Actually, that takes to an even darker idea. Like, what if you had a soul gem, but, like, your body got destroyed and you didn't have time to, like, reform it, but then a magical girl died next to you, but her body wasn't destroyed? Could you take over her body?
Probably.
Huh.
That's
a
freaky
interesting
idea.
That would be interesting. I wonder, someone needs to write a book about that.
Yeah, maybe like fan fiction.
What if
maybe.
you were like, what if you were like on a magical girl team, but then like one of your members isn't one of your members anymore, and they're like pretending to be that person when really they were someone else the whole time.
Interesting.
I feel like this show and Magia Record, we always just like come up with theories for things. It's like, what about this possibility?
I feel
This
like
is
people
fun.
in the comments are going to say, no, you're dumb. Shut up.
People don't often say that, but I know they're thinking it. And it's true.
Oh, yeah.
I am very dumb. And I come up with really stupid ideas. I was thinking, like, the one time that I did actually... Well, no. I knew QB was evil from the beginning, so that's the point for me. But, like, I think the only other time I, like, had a theory that was pretty right, or, like, spot on, was, like, when we were watching, like... you guys remember Kanata no Astra?
Yeah.
I think I called early on that it was that Charles guy, or whatever his name was.
Charles, yeah, you called it like as early as like episode like 3 or 4 or 5, something like that. So when it actually happened,
Yeah, I have my moments. They're infrequent, but I have them.
Yeah,
Oh.
I like that show a lot.
It was pretty good. I feel like a lot of people slept on that one.
Yeah, I recommended it to my friend like just the other day. I was like, watch this. And now, if any of you are listening to it now, I'm telling you to watch it. Go watch it.
Watch it, and then go back and watch us talk about it, because we've watched it on Anime Yay or Nay.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those rare 12-episode shows that fully adapts a light novel and tells a full, complete story with no holes or anything in it. It's
nice.
Yeah.
It's
Is it
refreshing.
light novels? I thought it was a manga series.
Whatever it was very short.
Yeah, I think it was like a couple, like 5 volumes of manga, I want to say. Let me look this up. This is going to be bothering me.
While you're looking that up, when is Magia Record next year, the new one, or is that this year?
They haven't announced when the second
Yeah.
season's coming out. It's still up in the air.
I'm assuming they haven't announced the 4th movie yet, right?
No.
Never gonna get a conclusion to this series.
All right, yeah, it is a 5-volume manga series.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, it's one of those things where, with like if there's a follow up to Rebellion, whether or not it's like they could do another story to actually tell what happens, or they could leave it up to the readers and viewers to make their own assumptions of what happens next. Does Devil Homura gonna comply with Heaven Madoka? Or are they gonna come to paths one day? Well, maybe that's up to you to find out.
Well, I honestly feel like you can't end something like that and then just kind of like not like give us a follow-up. Not that I'm saying like as a fan that I need more content and I should have more content. It's more the fact that like you don't build up to something like that at the very end of your movie and then just like expect us not to think that something else is coming up down the pipeline. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like if they had done Infinity War and then just never made Endgame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of blue balling us here.
Yeah, I don't know if the same people that... I know it's Shaft, but I don't know if it's the same people that animated Madoka Magica's animating Magia Records. I don't know if that's what's tying them up, and obviously Shaft does more than Madoka, so... the movie came out 8 years ago this year, so you figure if it was going to come out, it'd come out eventually.
I mean, the thing about it is just the fact that, like, there's already, like, concept art for, like, movie posters and stuff that's already, like, out in the ether, so who knows? Maybe we'll get something, maybe we won't.
I mean, concept art doesn't really mean a whole lot.
But I think it would still be interesting to, like, go with whatever it is that they're showing us, but meh. Whatever.
It'd be cool. Yeah, Magia Record was Shaft.
Yeah.
I think, like, it's an original anime for them, so I think they, like, would just own the property. I don't think they would, like, want to give up that IP to anyone else.
No.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. These were really interesting episodes this week, but at the same time, it's like it's really just build up for what happens next week, and we can't go into that just yet. So
yeah,
I'm kind of struggling at what to say next. I mean, we had the revelations and whatnot. We had a little bit here and there with like character stuff. Well, actually, a good amount of character stuff, especially with Kyoko. She got to shine a lot. Like not only being introduced, but like getting to know everything that we know about her, and then she didn't get killed 2 episodes later. That's great.
And then obviously was a shit ton of world building on how the magical girl system works, from like grief seed to your soul being in the grief seed to the very end where it's like, yeah, wonder where all these witches come from. It's magical girls, and it's vice versa. So it's like you need magical girls to defeat the witches, but then if you don't kill enough witches, the magical girls turn into witches, and it funnels itself out.
Everything balances in the end. Yeah. Just like Thanos. Oh my god, this is the Infinity War of anime. QB is the big purple dude.
No, at least no. Thanos had emotions. QB doesn't.
I guess that's fair.
Whether or not you agree,
Thanos?
I mean, trying to protect the one that you love. I don't know.
I say we can make an argument once we've seen what Homura's, powers
Deal is.
really are. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, QB found out their time manipulation.
Yeah. Okay. But
specifically, why?
yeah.
Like, what is Homura's, God, what's the word? Reason for living, I guess?
She wished that she would never be late for school again.
Oh.
Bam.
Now I remember. Raison d'etre. That was it.
Yeah.
What is her raison d'etre?
Never be late for school again. Now she can manipulate time, so she never would be. But she had to start killing witches in the process. What a wish.
Sorry, my cat's distracting me.
Your cat's distracting you? Oh, goodness.
Yes.
Just don't make a deal with him if he starts talking.
Nah, he wouldn't do that to me. He loves
Wouldn't he?
me.
Wouldn't
I
he?
don't know. His name's Houdini. He could do anything.
He loves me.
All right, Madoka.
Speaking of Madoka, I don't want to, say, the voice actress is doing a bad job. Does anyone else find her a little annoying in these episodes?
I mean, it's kind of hard to, have, a normal-sounding voice when all she's really doing is crying.
Yeah.
A lot of her, these past 4 episodes, is nothing but crying.
I really don't know that I ever hear anything else out of that voice actress. And, granted, I'm not super familiar with her entire filmography like I am for someone like Dan Green. But I don't know. I'm kind of sick of hearing her "I'm about to cry" voice.
Did you ever watch the dub of Kill la Kill?
Oh wait, she was Mako, wasn't she?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's different.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to watch that and cleanse my palate a little bit.
You could look up her filmography. She's done a lot of anime and video games over the years.
I know she has, but as of recent, I've only heard her as Madoka and however you pronounce the girl from Blue Exorcist, because apparently I can never pronounce it correctly. Yin gave me what for that one? I say shabby, it's shimmy, 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 shimla. I don't know. The blonde chick that Bryce Papenbrook is into.
Shiemi.
Yeah.
Is that how you say
See,
it? I feel like I've been saying it
Yeah.
that way the whole time.
Shiemi.
Shammy.
No.
You're literally running it together. She, me.
I'm not getting into this tonight. It's too late.
Learning
late for
phonics. Learning phonics with the OutbackAl and friends.
It's Japanese phonics.
Ugh.
See, I only know two. Let me think about this actually.
3?
4.
4.
Maybe it might be 3.
5?
Okay, I only know
1.
two other of her English voices, because I don't really all of those things like Kill la Kill and other things she was in. I watched the sub because I watched it when it came out, so they didn't even have the dub yet. So I'm familiar with her voicing Chiaki Nanami in Danganronpa 2 and Himiko Yumeno in Danganronpa 3.
Did you ever watch Toradora?
Not
I
in
did.
English, not subbed.
Oh,
or
okay.
dubbed.
Because
I've
she
watched
was.
I've watched it subbed.
Yeah, I was going to say, because she was Kushieda in the dub of Toradora. And so, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I only
Was
watched,
that-
I watched a bunch of things subbed, so
Was that the redhead?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, she was pretty much doing Mako there, it almost felt like.
And funny enough, too, Cassandra Lee Morris, who voices Kyubey, is Taiga in the dub of
Cute.
Toradora.
And yet I didn't find her annoying there. I don't know. Maybe it's just like when whatever they're doing for Madoka Magica, I'm not loving entirely.
To be fair, Madoka, no spoilers, of course, but Madoka's going to have a lot more relevance in the last 4 episodes.
Well, I should fucking hope so. Her name is in the fucking title.
Wait, oh my god.
What?
Guys.
What?
So I know we don't really listen to their voices when we play the game because we voice them.
Yeah.
But she's Miranda Vanderbilt.
Oh my god, are you serious?
I mean, that makes sense.
Wow.
There's actually a lot of
And
big
Hope,
voice actors in the Monster
Wait a
Farm
minute.
games.
Wait a minute. So, I voiced a character who is also voiced by Madoka?
Hey, you know what else she plays? Hope.
Yeah, Hope.
Ah. Ah. It is also me.
Yep. Ain't that funny?
Jeez.
But yeah.
Ugh. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like kind of how Madoka's mom was talking. Like it's time for a drink.
Oh, I already had mine.
Oh,
I'm an adult.
I'm an adult.
Yeah, that was when she was talking about drinking like that, and I was kind of like, okay, like Mrs. Kaname, like, alright,
Mrs. Kaname.
yeah, Mrs. Madoka's mom. You're like telling your daughter, your underage daughter, how great it is to like drink. Like, okay,
I can't wait for you to be an adult
funny.
so you could drink with me.
Yeah. And then, God, the dialogue of the guys on the subway with Sayaka.
Oh, that was...
I hated that. I hated that so much.
That was cringe.
I don't know that there's a way to say those in English without making it, like, sound cringy.
It was just bad. Like to me, it wasn't even cringy. It was just, like, bad.
Like, why would you say those things about people? Like, on a public subway. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I have no doubt that people say that in real life, but yeah, saying it out, like, out in public where everyone can hear you, yeah, that's one of those things where it's like, yeah, that was to move the plot forward, because Sayaka needed to go more and more into despair.
I mean, yeah, I get it for plot relevancy, but still...
They're pricks.
Yeah.
They were pricks.
Yeah, were pricks. Keyword were.
Yeah, they got eaten. Or something. We don't even know. Something happened to them. Maybe they're off on a nice vacation to some sort of workshop where they can learn to better treat other human beings.
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Wishful thinking?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think that's about it. Next week's the big one. End of Madoka.
Ooh.
Sort of. We already did the end of Madoka a while ago with Rebellion.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll see where what happened to cause the events of Rebellion to be what they were. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did I tell you guys that I saw Rebellion before I actually watched the end of the series?
Really?
You must have been so
I do remember
lost.
you telling me that.
Well, yeah, and I also watched it subbed, which made it more confusing because I had to read while, like, flipping my eyes back and forth between the amazing visuals and the subtitles, and I was having a very difficult time with it, and I walked out very confused
Yeah.
as to what had happened and why.
I mean, to be fair,
That was the night that we had a very long conversation about what the fuck happened in that movie.
I was gonna say, as someone who we literally that year just got done watching it a few months ago, and then when the movie came out, most of us came out of the theater was like, what? What just happened? What?
So, I mean, I understood what was going on. I was just mad.
And you can hear all about what Chibi thought on our episode on Rebellion from Anime Yay or Nay. Go back and watch.
Please, no, don't.
No, do. Why not? I don't know. Watch it after next week. Everything will make sense. Everything will make sense after next week.
Maybe.
Not really. All right. I think we're grasping at straws for what to say at this point.
Yeah.
Yep. Come back again for next week. We're finishing it off. It's episodes 9 through 12. The big shit is about to go down. Come back next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, and if you haven't already, check out some of our previous episodes, our daily gaming videos, or our parody series Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!